Welcome to Murders and Minivans, where the coffee is cold, the kids are wild, and the crimes are absolutely unhinged. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tally. Let's talk murders, motherhood, and why we trust absolutely no one.
It's distracting because when your eyes are like most blue, I'm like, oh, maybe it's contacts.
No, I can't. And also, I can't see. Like, when my eyes are like that blue, I'm blind.
Like right now, your eyes are very blue.
I think it's because of the lights, and I'm blind.
Okay.
Like, if I look away, I get like those, like, you know, when you look at a light for too long?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very bright in here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It doesn't look like that on camera right now. If this actually works to be posted on YouTube, we'll fix it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Everything is learning.
Exactly.
We're doing a great job.
We're doing great.
We are doing great.
Yeah. It's Mother's Day. Yeah.
I know. We showed up.
Yeah. On Mother's Day.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And we were having issues. It's 9:30.
That's why you married tech support.
Exactly. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay.
Shout out.
Well, I'll get started on this one.
Let's do it.
Okay. So, if this time's out, just let me know. And then I'll stop yapping. Okay.
We'll figure it out.
So, Beverly Hills, August 20th, 1989. It's also a Sunday night.
Oh.
I didn't think of these things.
Oh.
José and Mary Louise Menendez, known to everybody as Kitty, are sitting in the den of their $13.5 million Elm Drive mansion.
I don't even know that kind of money. I know. I don't even know what that would be.
I know. Like, even $1 million, I'm like
maybe $1 million, you can figure it out. Because some houses in the nearest city are kind of just like, surprise, I'm $1 million. 13 mil, that's a different level of money that we don't. I can't comprehend.
There's one around us. I have to send you the listing. It's 15 million.
Why?
And the nearest school district, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
You're gonna 15 million, you're gonna send your kid there?
Yeah. You know what's kind of a tiny bit funny? Quick aside.
Yeah.
We were watching Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
And the hoity-toity lawyer is using a limo to go about his business. I'm like, people don't do that. Like, you get a really fancy sports car now. Like,
it's true.
Not many. I don't think that's like the height of
luxury.
Yeah, to go around a limo anymore.
Yeah. I know for grad, it's not a thing anymore. And then P actually saw a limo when we were in the city, and then she's like, "What are limos used for?" I'm like, "Well, it's grad weekend."
Yeah.
And then Brian
weddings.
Brian made the point. He's like, "You don't see limos anymore." I'm like, "Oh my god, you don't."
I had a kid show up in a tractor.
That is so... We live in a rural area. Okay.
I meant like by grad.
Oh,
it was pretty rural.
Well, you also lived in a rural area.
It was pretty rural.
If somebody showed up in a tractor in Calgary, goodbye.
But you were like downtown. That's different.
I told somebody that we went to school in the inner city, and they're like, "No, that's not inner city." I'm like,
"What?
Yes, it is.
If it's not, then what is?"
Yeah, it is inner city.
Yeah,
stupid.
Okay. They're mistaken.
Go Warriors. That's the only clue I'll give. Wait, what was your high school team? Cougars or something?
I don't know.
Probably Cold Lake Cougars.
Probably Lions.
Hmm.
Might have been Lions. I think it's Hornets now.
Oh, that's awful.
Trying to say it in my brain. I think it was Lions.
Okay.
Yeah, ask Neil, actually.
Well, we'll update next time. Okay. So Kitty and José are sitting in their $13.5 million Elm Drive mansion, and they're watching a James Bond movie, The Spy Who Loved Me.
An old one.
Yeah.
Classic. Okay.
Well, it's 1989, so not old then.
Wow.
Oh, it's the year you were born. Right.
That's why it's like, shut up.
So their two sons, Lyle, who's 21 at this time, and Erik, who is 18, are somewhere in the house. But by the end of the night, José and Kitty will be dead. They were shot a combined total of 16 times at close range with a 12-gauge Mossberg shotguns. And the crime scene will be so brutal, so deliberate and savage that veteran detectives will say that it's the worst that they've ever seen. And one detective will say that what was left of José no longer looked like a person.
Ooh.
And the two people who did it called 911 from the same house, screaming about finding their parents' bodies. This is the story of Lyle and Erik Menendez. I'm shocked that you don't know this one. This is a very...
I don't know why this is still surprising.
This is a big one. So sad. It's very sad. Let's start with these people who actually... what happened before all of this. So José Enrique Menendez was born on May 6th, 1944 in Havana, Cuba. So, Taurus.
That was our
wedding.
Honeymoon was Havana. That's cool.
Yeah. So his family was working class, and then when the Cuban Revolution hit in the late 1950s, a 15-year-old Jose was sent to the U.S. alone. And he arrived with nothing. He spoke limited English and built genuinely a remarkable American success story. So he went to Southern Illinois University on a swimming scholarship where he met a woman named Mary Louise Anderson. Now, Mary Louise Kitty was born on October 14th, 1941, Libra. So great compatible match.
Oh, we have a lot of Libras in our lives.
Yeah.
A lot of energy.
Yeah. And she was the youngest of 4 kids, so everybody called her Kitty. Now, before we get into like what marriage actually became, it's worth understanding what Kitty was before all of this. Because she kind of gets like flattened into a supporting role in all of this in the Menendez story, and it's not really the full picture. Kitty had a very difficult childhood. Her father, Charles, was reportedly very abusive towards her mother, May. I love that name. And their children. And her parents eventually divorced while Kitty was still young, and by multiple accounts, the split hit her very hard. And she became withdrawn and struggled to make friends, and then ended up carrying resentment towards her father for years. So she came into adulthood heavy with like that. She was also strikingly gorgeous. Like her brother Brian even described her as beautiful on the outside and even more so on the inside. And in 1962, she won the Miss Oak Lawn Beauty pageant.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Pageant winner.
When I first read that, I was like, because I forgot that it was called Oak. Was it Oak Lawn? Hold on a second. Yes, Oak Lawn, Illinois. When I first read it, I was like, did she have the most beautiful lawn?
Yeah, Oak Lawn. Yeah,
because
that's
how
misleading.
Yeah, Oak Lawn Beauty Pageant. I'm like, so it's the nicest lawn.
Yeah.
It's not what it was. It was an actual
but
beauty
that does
pageant.
happen in our town, our area.
I know.
Like best lawn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If that was still a thing, I would never see my husband. He already is like way too concerned about his lawn.
Now that we've moved into like a town as opposed to very rural.
Yeah.
Yeah, Neil is like weirdly aware of how our yard is perceived. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know.
Yeah.
This is a new side of you.
Who cares?
I'm seeing.
It's very odd. Okay, so she won that pageant in 1962, and she was also studying communications at Southern Illinois University.
Southern?
Southern.
Sorry.
Southern Illinois University.
Please keep going.
And by all accounts, she was incredibly ambitious. She wanted to act, and she had a very large presence. Then she met Jose. So her college roommate, Joe McCord, described the moment that Kitty laid eyes on him as, and I'm paraphrasing here, like she had been hit by a bulldozer. He was a young Cuban immigrant on a swimming scholarship, driven and magnetic. And her friends at the time described Kitty as glamorous but somewhat secretive about her past. So kind of like a rebel, and Jose's family initially objected the relationship because they thought that he was just too young. And then the two ended up marrying anyways in 1963 when Jose was only 19.
Oof, yeah, that's tricky.
So they relocated to New York, and then Jose transferred to Queens College and got an accounting degree, and Kitty worked as a teacher. And then the kids came. So Lyle was born January 10th, 1968, and Erik was born November 27th, 1970. So Capricorn and Sagittarius.
Ooh, whoa. Cool.
And at Jose's urging, Kitty gave up her teaching career and became a full-time housewife. And she set aside whatever she had been building for herself to pour everything into being a mom, which is relatable. Jose kept climbing. So he went from executive at Hertz to working in the music industry at RCA Records.
Oh, that's quite a turn.
Yeah, where notably, he worked with the Puerto Rican boy band Menudo in the early 1980s.
Interesting.
And then he was appointed CEO of Live Entertainment, which is a film studio and home video distribution company. And then that meant that the family had to move to California.
Wow.
So first they lived in Calabasas and then Beverly Hills. So they had the house, they had the cars, the industry connections, and by all means the life. By 1989, Jose was a genuine power player. He was the kind of man who commanded rooms, who knew how to project control and authority in every situation, and people described him as relentless and driven, and somebody who expected perfection from himself and everybody around him. Now, an anonymous business associate told Vanity Fair in 1990 that something that stuck with me. They said about Kitty that she was Jose with a wig.
Oh, okay.
She was always very much at his side, part of his vision, and dedicated to the cause, whatever the cause was. But behind that unified front, the marriage was fracturing, and Kitty was the one who was absorbing most of the damage. This kind of gets glossed over. So Kitty is typically presented as either a victim, like a woman who was shot dead in her own home, or as complicit in her husband's alleged crimes. But neither of those actually capture the whole person. Kitty was deeply unhappy in the years before her death, and there's a documented record of that.
Oh.
Jose had been having an 8-year affair with a woman in New York. It's every time.
Why? Pick a new thing.
I know.
Pick a new thing.
Take up jogging.
Jogging. Chess.
Start a podcast.
Computer programming.
Literally anything.
Pottery.
Pottery.
I don't know. Come up with a few more, though. Tetris.
That would be good.
Don't pretend that was my best idea.
No, Tetris is a good one. It's very USSR coded.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think Tetris is like a commie game.
Interesting. Okay, maybe I'm onto something then.
Yeah, there you go.
You're welcome.
So Kitty knew that he was having this affair. According to testimony from her former psychologist at the 1993 trial, she became dependent on drugs and alcohol because of that affair. Oh. It broke something in her. Karen Lamb was a former actor and model who described herself as a friend of Kitty's. She told Vanity Fair that Kitty actually attempted to harm herself 3 times over her husband's...
Fair.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Over the infidelity.
Yeah.
3 times.
Oh, that's awful.
So you have this woman who gave up her career, her ambitions, and her sense of self to walk around a man and a family, and the man is repeatedly unfaithful, and she's drinking and using prescription medication to cope, and she is periodically wanting to harm herself. And this family is tightly controlled in this environment in Calabasas and then in Beverly Hills, where everything has to look perfect to everybody from the outside. Mm-hmm. The defense at trial described Kitty as mentally unstable, an alcoholic, and a drug addict who was aware and complicit of Jose's alleged abuse of the boys, and who also physically and emotionally was abusive herself. Lyle would later testify that Kitty invited him into her bed and asked him to touch her when he was around 11 or 12 years old.
Oh, no.
He testified that she would appear semi-nude in front of him regularly. He said that she dragged him by the hair, kicked him, and threw his belongings out of windows as punishment. These claims have no physical evidence and were disputed vigorously by the prosecution. But what isn't disputed, and what comes through even in the prosecution's framing of Kitty as a victim, is that she was a woman in profound distress, trapped in a marriage that she couldn't leave, and self-medicating to survive it.
That's sad.
Her brother Brian, who loved her a lot, really had her back, also acknowledged in an interview that she spoiled the boys and resisted any attempts by others to introduce discipline. So he would tell her that the boys needed structure, and she would just shut him down. Mm-hmm. Not really the behavior of somebody who was like happy and confident.
Yes.
It reads more to me, as an untrained person, as somebody who was clinging to her kids because everything in her life felt very unstable. Mm-hmm. The other thing worth saying about Kitty is she was completely isolated from her own ambitions by the time she died. So she was 47 and she had wanted to be an actress. She had studied communications, she had won a beauty pageant, and she spent her adult life in the passenger seat of Jose's career. And she moved to California when he decided to move, becoming who he needed her to be.
Okay.
I don't think understanding Kitty changes what happened to her on that day, but it's interesting to note that the last shot was a contact shot to her face.
Yeah, that's awful.
Mm-hmm. So she's more than a footnote, and the fact that she had her own trauma and her own pain and history matters to me, because when you're trying to understand how this family got where it got, it plays a large part. By the summer of 1989, Lyle was 21 and he was attending Princeton, not exactly covering himself in glory. He was on academic probation for poor grades, and he was eventually suspended for plagiarism.
Ugh.
In the dorms, he reportedly threw out a roommate's belongings because he didn't want to share a room. He flooded sinks and repainted his room without permission, which I'm like...
It's a little bit of entitlement there.
Yeah. The prosecution would later point to this behavior as entitlement of two young men who had grown up expecting the world to bend to their preferences. Now, Erik was the younger one. In the summer of 1989, he was 18, and he was an average student at Beverly High School, but he was genuinely talented in tennis.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he ranked 44th in the country as a junior. My sister had a private tennis coach.
What?
Yeah.
Why didn't you?
I don't know. She's really good at tennis. I think this is like before we moved to Canada.
Oh, okay.
But she was like incredibly talented in tennis.
Cool.
I know. Every time I hear tennis, I'm like, she could have been.
Yeah, could have
been like Anna Kournikova.
Whoa. Maybe she still could.
Maybe.
What's like the age top up on?
I don't know. They're all so young.
Are they? Okay.
I imagine. I don't know. He ranked 44th in the country as a junior.
Pretty cool.
And 2 weeks before the murders, he and his friend Michael Joyce competed in the boys' junior national tennis championship. So tennis was like his thing. The brothers were close. Some observers noted unusually close.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not something you ever want to hear.
No.
In 1988, the year before the murders, they did something together that was worth flagging.
Uh-oh.
They committed a string of burglaries in their Calabasas neighborhood, stealing over $100,000 in cash and jewelry from their neighbors' homes. They were caught. Jose paid restitution and managed the fallout quietly and avoided criminal charges for his sons, and then the family moved to Beverly Hills. This kind of often gets overlooked too when you talk about the case because they were not kids with like no options. They had money of their own. They had access and a dad who's willing to help cover up their crimes. Then there was a screenplay. In high school, Erik co-wrote a script with his classmate Craig Signorelli, and the title was Friends. So I think this is like before actual Friends. Now, the premise was a wealthy young man commits the perfect murder by killing his parents to inherit their estate.
Oof.
Nobody took it seriously at the time.
Why would you, though, if they're kids?
Now, before we get to the night of August 20th, let's spend some time on what life inside the Menendez house actually looked like. By multiple accounts, Jose ran the household the way he ran his business, with total control and non-negotiable expectations.
Okay.
He drove his sons relentlessly. Tennis rankings, grades, comportment, future career paths, and everything was subject to his approval. There was a vision of this that looked like ambitious parenting from the outside, but multiple people who knew what was going on the inside described it as suffocating.
Oh, okay.
This one's tough. One thing that came up repeatedly in testimony was that Jose showed the boys pornographic videos from a very young age.
What? Why?
I don't know. Lyle testified that this started when he was 6 and Erik was 3, framing it as education about manhood.
No. That's
so
far too young. That's abuse.
Yeah. It's abuse no matter what age. Why are you watching porn with your child? Like, what? I don't know.
Yes. When you're at legal age, it's just fucking weird.
Yeah.
But earlier than that, it's abuse.
For sure.
Like, there's no way you can justify that one. That's just weird. There's no reason for it. None.
No,
None at all.
Bizarre. Jose actually traveled constantly for work. When he was home, though, the atmosphere in the house was very tense. The boys walked on eggshells, and Kitty, for her part, was erratic. She was sometimes warm and affectionate, and then sometimes she was volatile. She drank. She took
a stress response.
Yeah. She drank. She took medication, and she had episodes that scared the boys. And then when Jose was away, she leaned on them in ways that was very heavy and emotionally inappropriate for a parent-child dynamic.
Oh, yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
The family moved frequently, like I said, from New Jersey, Calabasas, and then Beverly Hills. And then each move required Lyle and Erik to start over socially. That pattern of uprooting also meant that there was no consistent outside world keeping an eye on the family. There was no neighbor who had known them for 20 years. There was no teacher who remembered the boys from childhood. The family unit was very enclosed and self-referential. Their cousins who visited the house described a particular kind of unease they couldn't always name. The cousin Alan Anderson, who would later testify for the defense, recalled that José regularly took showers with Lyle and Erik and that Kitty actively kept other family members away from that part of the house when it was happening.
Oh, I don't like where this is going.
Alan said that he didn't really know what to make of it, but he knew that it wasn't normal, but nobody said anything. So messed up.
Yeah, no, I don't know what happened, but that's not good.
So then the thing that comes up over and over again in this case is people sensed that something was wrong and nobody really said anything or asked or intervened. We don't really know why, if it was because the Menendez family projected success and power too effectively for anybody to push back, or because people just didn't want to be involved. But whatever happened in the house stayed in that house, essentially.
Oh, that's awful.
2 days before the murders, on August 18th, Lyle and Erik drove around Southern California trying to buy guns. They went to multiple gun stores, but Lyle had issues with his driver's license, and California law mandated a 2-week waiting period for handguns. They decided to drive to San Diego. They went into a Big 5 sporting goods store, and Erik used a driver's license that he had stolen from Lyle's friend, Donovan Goudreau, to make the purchase. They bought 2 Mossberg 12-gauge shotguns, boxes of birdshot and buckshot ammunition, and there was no waiting period required for shotguns in California at the time. Yeah.
Easy way around the gun laws.
Yeah.
Go to a different state quick.
Yeah. So, on the evening of Sunday, August 20th, José and Kitty were in the family's media room, which is like a theater den, and The Spy Who Loved Me was playing. Lyle and Erik walked in carrying loaded shotguns. José was shot 6 times. The final shot was to the back of his head. One blast, according to the autopsy report, caused what the medical examiner described as explosive decapitation with evisceration of the brain and deformity of the face.
Oh.
The retired detective who walked into that room, Dan Stewart, said in an interview, "I've seen a lot of homicides, but nothing quite that brutal. Blood, flesh, skulls. It would be hard to describe, especially José, as resembling a human that you would recognize. That's how bad it was." Kitty was shot 10 times. The first shots hit her chest, right arm, left hip, and left leg. She was not dead. She fell to the floor and tried to crawl away.
Holy. I'm surprised I didn't kill her.
I know. Lyle ran back to the car, where Erik handed him more ammunition to reload. And then Lyle came back and fired the contact shot into her face.
God, that's sad. Obviously, there was a lot of abuse and. Because you'd have to be angry and sad and miserable to shoot that many times.
And 21.
Yeah. It's so sad.
Now, after the killings, the brothers stayed in the house for a few minutes, waiting to see if the police would respond to the noise. When nobody came, they left. They disposed of their blood-soaked clothes, and they drove to Mulholland Drive, and they buried the shotgun somewhere along the road.
Wow, okay.
Then they went to a movie theater. They tried to buy tickets for Batman to use as an alibi, but then they said, fuck that, when they noticed that the theater time-stamped its stubs.
Oh, okay.
They went to the Taste of LA Festival at the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium instead. And then they went home. Still no police.
Wow, okay.
So Lyle called 911. He was screaming. He said, somebody killed my parents. He said he and Erik had just come home and found the bodies, and Erik was audibly in the background also screaming and crying. When officers arrived, both brothers ran out of the house towards them. Police did not administer gunshot residue tests, which is a notable failure because those tests would have confirmed whether the brothers had recently fired a weapon. Now, Lyle told police that he thought that the killing might be business-related, a mob hit, maybe, given that his father's industry connections were all over the place. Detectives actually pursued that angle for a while. The crime was so brutal and had so much overkill that it didn't look like a random robbery, and José did have some complicated professional dealings, but the mob angle wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
But the investigators also decided to watch the brothers. In the months after the parents were murdered, Lyle and Erik spent just a shitload of money. Fast. Lyle bought a Porsche Carrera, 3 Rolexes, and he purchased Chuck Springs Street Cafe, which is a restaurant in Princeton, New Jersey.
Why?
Beats me.
Stupid.
He traveled to the Caribbean and then to London. Erik hired a full-time personal tennis coach and started competing in tournaments overseas, including eventually a tournament in Israel.
Wow.
Shout out. They moved out of the Beverly Hills mansion and left it sitting empty and then set themselves up in side-by-side condos in Marina del Rey. They went courtside at New York Knicks games, and their faces ended up in the background of an official NBA trading card, which immortalized in the background of a Mark Jackson collectible while their parents were freshly dead.
Wow.
So somebody, like, there's this card that exists somewhere, or multiple cards.
Wow.
Their total spending in those months was approximately $700,000.
Good for them. Good for them. That's
holy shit.
Significant amount of money to spend fast.
And, like, proof that you're young. Because if you gave me $700,000 now, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to invest it.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. Probably, yeah, I'll invest at least half, and then maybe I'll blow the
I'd
rest.
fix my windows.
There's always, isn't that, like, that's always the joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there will be signs, but we're not going to fucking tell anybody. Like, I'll maybe buy the neighbor's house and mow it down, but I'm not going to say, hey, I won the lottery.
If you did that, I would know.
You know. That would be your sign. Be like, Stephanie. Not Neil, though.
Yeah, it'd be like, how much did you win?
Yeah, I wouldn't tell you.
You gonna take Brian to Vegas?
I tell you, I'll have to take Brian to Vegas. That'll have to be the second. That'll be the second thing I do is take poor, sweet Brian to Vegas.
Family members who were questioned later pushed back on the idea that the spending was suspicious. They said that there was no real change in the brothers' habits and they'd always spent money freely. That's real free.
Yeah, it's pretty free.
The police were not buying it. Around at the same time, Erik started to see a psychologist named Jerome Oziel. And in those sessions, in what appears to have been a genuine unburdening, he confessed to those killings.
Wow.
Now, Oziel then told his mistress,
Jerome,
a psychologist.
Oh, wow.
A psychologist told his mistress.
This is very interesting.
I know. She was a woman named Judalon Smith. And crucially, Oziel began secretly recording his sessions with the brothers, which I'm pretty sure is some kind
That's
of...
bad. That's bad.
I don't know if you can do that.
No, you super can't.
I know, like, when you go to a therapist now, like, they say, if I know that you've harmed somebody, like, if you say you've harmed somebody, they do report you. That's what you should do. Why are you recording it?
Yeah, but that's the same thing for, like, baby blues. What's the word?
Postpartum depression?
Yeah, postpartum. If they think you're a risk, then they have to say so.
I know, because when I had postpartum really bad, I didn't tell anybody except for Brian, because I'm like, I don't want them to, like, take my kids away. You know, like, I was, like, petrified of that.
It would have to be very bad for them to take your kids away. They might just be like, you're going to see us every day for therapy. Yeah.
I also didn't want them to, like, put me in.
Yeah, I don't want to be on a list.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I can understand that.
But now I can't get life insurance, so.
Well.
Yeah. He started recording his sessions. Now, meanwhile, Erik's friend Craig Signorelli, co-author of that screenplay, contacted police to say that Erik had told him what had happened. Now, police then arranged for Craig to wear a wire to have lunch with Erik. When Craig directly asked whether Erik had killed his parents, Erik said no.
Well, yeah, because it's suspicious.
But there was more coming. So a friend of Lyle's named Glenn Stevens told police about something that had happened 1 week after the murders. Lyle had made a sudden trip from Princeton back to the Beverly Hills house, specifically to get into the family computer. Stevens said Lyle told him that a family member found a new will, and then he went back to erase it. Police then confirmed that Lyle had hired a computer expert to ensure the deletion of recently updated will that Jose had prepared, one that investigators believed may have left his son significantly less money.
Ooh, okay. Interesting.
So that's the financial motive right there, is that a new will that would cut them out would be destroyed within a week of the murders. March of 1990, 7 months after the killings, Judalon, the mistress, broke up with Oziel, and she went to police. She told them about the therapy session confessions, and she told them about the tapes. And then on March 8th, 1990, Lyle was arrested outside of the Beverly Hills mansion. Erik was in Israel for a tennis tournament, and then he returned to LA on March 11th, and then turned himself in at LAX.
Ooh, okay.
Both brothers were held without bail at the LA County Jail. Now, the tapes from Oziel's therapy sessions became the central legal battlefield for the next 2 years. Mm-hmm. In August of 1990, a judge ruled that the tapes were admissible because Oziel claimed that Lyle had threatened him during a session, which voided doctor-patient privilege. That's awful. Things were wild in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Now, the defense appealed. The case sat in appeals for 2 years. In August of 1992, the California Supreme Court ruled that most of the tapes were admissible, with one key exception. The specific tape on which Erik detailed the murders, that one was excluded.
Ew, that's shitty.
By December of 1992, an LA grand jury had indicted both brothers on 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances. The financial gain special circumstance was dropped because prosecutors couldn't prove that it was a sole motive.
Okay.
But the lying in wait charge did stick, making the brothers eligible for the death penalty.
Oh, shit.
Now, the prosecution announced in January of 1993 that they would seek death, but the trial was assigned to Judge Stanley Weisberg and Lance Ito, who most people, not you, will recognize as the O.J. Simpson trial judge.
Oh, okay.
Do you know who that is?
I have an idea. A vague recollection.
Oh, my God. Maybe I'll cover that case next. Football.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did he beat his girlfriend? Wasn't the story? Allegedly?
He did, and then he allegedly killed her.
Okay.
He's free.
In a hotel?
No. I'll cover it.
Okay, because I'm missing a bunch of details.
And maybe the camera will work so that we can see your reaction.
Okay.
Trial was set for July of 1993. Now, the first trial of Lyle and Erik Menendez began on July 20th, 1993. Cameras were allowed in the courtroom.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Court TV broadcasted live.
Court TV.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's like, yeah.
I love it. I used to watch Judge Judy.
Mm-hmm.
There was like Judge...
I don't remember. Judy
something Brown. Joe Brown. Judge Joe Brown.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched all of those court cases.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
And now I have a true crime podcast.
There you go. The path was very clear.
I know. This was one of the first televised criminal trials to capture mass public attention, right alongside the Simpson case that would follow 2 years later. Now, Leslie Abramson represented Erik, and Jill Lansing represented Lyle. The cases were tried together before separate juries, and then over the course of 85 days, from July to December of 93, 101 witnesses took the stand.
That's bonkers.
And there was 405 exhibits were entered into evidence. So, not quick and simple.
No. Oh, what a nightmare.
Now, the defense did not deny the killings. They couldn't, because the brothers had confessed. The question was not whether they did it. The question was why. The defense theory was self-defense, specifically that Lyle and Erik had killed their parents because they were in genuine, reasonable fear for their own lives after a lifetime of abuse. And both brothers actually took the stand.
Okay.
So Lyle testified that José began sexually abusing him when he was 6, and that José had started showing pornographic videos to him and Erik at that age, framing it as education about bonding and manhood before the abuse escalated.
That's so sad.
Lyle said that the sexual abuse of him stopped when he was 8, without explanation. He testified that Kitty also abused him, and that she had invited him into her bed and asked him to touch her starting around age 11.
No. Oh, I don't like this.
And then, again, that she appeared semi-nude in front of him regularly. He described physical abuse, being dragged by the hair, kicked, and having his belongings thrown out. And then Lyle said that when he was 8, he had told his cousin Diane Vandermolen about what José was doing, and that Diane told Kitty, who called Lyle a liar, and then sent him upstairs and never addressed it again.
Oh, that's so sad. Not listening to your kids.
No.
Oh.
Lyle also said that the only other person he ever told about the abuse ever was Diane. Now, Erik's testimony was quite a bit darker. He testified that, unlike Lyle, the abuse never stopped for him. It continued right up until weeks before the murders. He testified that he had finally told Lyle about it 2 weeks before August 20th, and that once Lyle knew, Lyle confronted their parents, and then in the days that followed, the atmosphere in the house became genuinely threatening. Both brothers testified that José had always threatened to kill them if they ever told anybody what was happening.
Gosh, it's sad.
And then they testified that the night of August 20th, when José closed the door to the den, something that they described as unusual, they interpreted it as a sign that the parents were about to eliminate them to protect the family's secret.
Ooh.
So they went outside, loaded the shotguns, and then went back in.
Yeah, they were afraid.
Now, Erik's words on the stand. As I went into the room, I just started firing.
He was sad and scared and had a lifetime of abuse. I get it. It's super, super sad. And I'm not saying that's the answer. But I can easily see the progression, if it's factual, of the lifetime of abuse and you snapping.
I think it is, yeah. I agree with them. Like, I don't agree, like, this is the answer, but I agree.
You can see how they got there.
Yes, big time.
If that's factual.
There were also 2 photographs presented by the defense. There was faceless images of young boys from the waist down that Lyle said José had taken of them as children. The prosecution countered that there was no evidence José took them, and that they are found on a roll of film that also contained photos from a children's birthday party.
But that should not be on the same. That shouldn't be there anyway.
There just shouldn't be photos.
No, if that happened nowadays, that'd be child pornography, and that is not.
100%.
Yeah, that would be tried. No.
I can't imagine just defending that, like, as the prosecution. And usually it's the defense that has to, like, defend deplorable acts.
Yeah.
But that one specifically, I'm like, how do you defend that?
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
If it's hard to maybe tell exactly who it is. Like, I guess it's the point of the photo. What is the point of the photo? To show that they had child pornography, or to pinpoint that that was me as a child? So it's tricky.
Yeah. Either way, it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way, you shouldn't have that.
No, I agree.
So messed up. Beyond the brothers' own testimony, the defense called a significant number of people who knew the Menendez family to corroborate what they were describing. What those witnesses actually said and what they couldn't say is where things get complicated. Diane Vandermolen, the cousin, testified that during a family visit in the mid-1970s, an 8-year-old Lyle had come to her and told her that his father was touching him. She says, I told Kitty about it, and Kitty's response, according to Diane, was she didn't believe it. She went downstairs, yanked Lyle by the arm, and took him back upstairs, and then the subject was never talked about.
Classic denial.
The prosecution cross-examined Diane. She acknowledged that she had never directly witnessed any abuse, and she saw the aftermath of one disclosure. She can't speak to what was or wasn't happening. Andy Kano, another cousin, testified about a conversation that he said he had with Erik when Erik was about 13. Erik described having genital massages from his dad.
No.
The prosecution pressed Andy on whether or not he would lie for his cousin. He said no. The state's response was essentially, we think you would, and we think you did.
Oh, that's awful. No.
Alan Anderson, the cousin who was present at the second trial, testified about the showers. Now, José would take the boys into the bathroom, and Kitty actively kept other family members away. He acknowledged that he hadn't directly witnessed sexual abuse, but he knew that something was not right about it.
Okay, this is multiple family members now that are testifying that bad things have happened. They didn't see them, but they knew about them.
Yeah, like, you're uncomfortable. You have a sense.
Yeah. You listen to your intuition.
Clara Wright, the wife of the attorney that was hired by Lyle and Erik after the murders, said that the brothers had brought a safe to her house in hopes of locating a copy of their parents' will. It was opened 2 days after the murder in the presence of the brothers' uncles Brian Anderson and Carlos Baralt. The safe was empty.
Oh.
The prosecution used this as evidence that the brothers were trying to access their inheritance as quickly as possible. Now, the defense also called psychological experts Professor John Wilson, who testified that Erik showed symptoms of PTSD consistent with abuse.
Duh.
He described their brothers' behaviors as consistent with what you would see in trauma survivors. The prosecution's expert witness, psychiatrist Park Elliott Dietz, pushed back hard. He argued that there's no way to confirm PTSD because the underlying abuse allegations were unproven. And he made a specific argument that stuck. He said Erik didn't show symptoms of learned helplessness, which apparently is a key feature of long-term trauma responses. His evidence of this was that Erik had gone and purchased guns, and he practiced with them at a shooting range, which is not the behavior, that Dietz argued, of someone who was psychologically incapable of escaping the situation.
No, I don't think that's a strong enough argument.
No, me either.
That's ridiculous.
They will find anybody to say anything.
Yeah, that's like if you Google anything, you can find evidence of anything you want.
Yeah,
it doesn't make a right or strong argument.
Yeah,
you could just find crazies that align with you.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So the defense's case rested very heavily on family witnesses, but the prosecution had their own testimony that undercut the abuse narrative. Before the trial even started, Lyle had approached his ex-girlfriend Jamie Pisaric. I'm gonna butcher this. Jamie Pisaric. And he offered to bribe her to testify falsely that José had made sexual advances towards her. Jamie went to the police. When Lyle took the stand, his own lawyer had him preemptively admit to the scheme before the prosecution could bring it up.
Why?
I think because he must have known that the prosecution was going to say something. I don't know. The defense framed this as just transparency. The prosecution framed it as a window into how these brothers operated. There was also the issue of Lyle's recorded conversations with a woman named Norma Novelli, a woman who he had been speaking with regularly, believing that she was writing a book about his life. But what he didn't know was that Norma was recording these calls. On those tapes, Lyle described how he had snowed the first jury with his emotional testimony.
Ooh.
When prosecutors at the second trial got access to those tapes, Lyle's decision not to take the stand suddenly made a lot more sense. There was also a letter that Lyle wrote to a former classmate of Erik's, his was Amir Eslamania, asking him to fabricate testimony about the brothers seeking to borrow a handgun. That letter was entered into evidence. It was another data point for the prosecution's central argument that these brothers were willing to lie, fabricate, and manipulate on a calculated basis, and that their abuse claims were part of the same pattern. The prosecution also pointed to what was absent in the initial confession to Oziel, the psychologist. When the brothers first told Oziel what had happened, they did not say abuse. They didn't mention self-defense. They just wanted to be free. Is what they said.
Sad.
So they want to be free from a controlling father, free from the pressure, and the abuse narrative, prosecutors would argue, appeared 7 months after the murders. So they're basically saying, you didn't complain about it enough.
Oh, that's not fair.
Yeah.
No, because obviously there was a history and they told family, hoping that they would save them. Ugh, that's awful.
Prosecutor Pamela Bozenich played the 911 call in court. So it was like Lyle screaming and emotional, and they framed it for the jury as a demonstration of what a skilled actor Lyle was.
Holy.
And her argument was, this man can perform grief on command.
That's shitty.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there was a prosecution's alternative theory for the tension between José and Erik in the weeks before the murders. So prosecutor Lester Kuriyama raised the possibility that José had not been sexually abusing Erik at all, but had discovered or suspected that Erik was gay, and that the conflict in the house in that final period had been about that and not just a disclosure of ongoing abuse. That's the 90s.
Yeah, that's icky. Yeah.
Now, the theory was that a father of that generation and of that culture and that level of controlling personality confronting the possibility of a gay son, that could have created exactly what the explosive family tension could have been about, I guess. That was their alternative theory.
Okay. Yuck, but fine.
Now, Erik said on the stand there was no living witnesses to the sexual abuse, just him and José.
That's awful.
Now,
doesn't mean it didn't happen.
No. And that's the thing, like, he was so controlled and stuff, yeah. Deliberations in the first trial stretched for weeks. Both juries, the one for Lyle and the one for Erik, came back deadlocked. Some jurors believed the abuse and some did not. Some wanted murder, some wanted manslaughter, so nobody could agree on anything. Mistrials were declared for both brothers in January of 1994. Then it went to trial again in October of 1995. There was only one jury instead of two, no cameras, a new prosecution team led by David Kahn, who had spent 2 years studying what went wrong. The judge the same. And he made a series of rulings that sharply limited the defense's evidence. Where 101 witnesses testified in the first trial, only 64 in the second.
Wow, okay.
Key abuse testimony was also excluded as being repetitive, irrelevant, and insufficient.
Irrelevant? Mm-hmm. No, it's relevant.
And critically, because Lyle didn't take the stand, his cousin Diane was also prohibited from testifying.
Oh, that's sad.
Andy Kino still testified about his conversation with Erik, but the prosecution did attack his credibility aggressively. Alan Anderson also testified, but prosecutors brought up the fact that Lyle had given him money after the crime. The prosecution's strategy in the second trial was different, because in the first trial, the framing had been, maybe there was some abuse, but it doesn't justify murder. Mm-hmm. In the second trial, there was no abuse at all. These men planned a murder with, just for money, told a big elaborate lie when they got caught, and then performed that lie with an extraordinary skill for a TV audience.
I disagree, but that's fine.
Yeah. Appellate attorney Cliff Gardner, who has represented the brothers for years, put it this way. The prosecution could not take another loss. They had too much riding on the outcome and the structure of the second trial, and the evidence that was excluded, the witnesses who were silenced, made that job significantly easier for them. So, March of 1996, the jury comes back unanimously guilty.
Oof.
First-degree murder, 2 counts, both brothers sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and they're both sent to separate prisons.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
That's like torture.
That's torture. Because they kind of survived abuse, allegedly, together. And then you separate them.
Yeah.
That's hard.
There's a lot of ice noises. I didn't think about that. As in, razzing you for the chocolate.
And my chocolate was relatively quick.
Yeah. Mine's just ice all the time.
Whatever. We'll get through it.
Sorry about that. So a lot happened in the decades between the 1996 conviction and today. Mm-hmm. Both brothers got married while incarcerated.
Oh, well, good for them.
So Lyle married Anna Erickson in 1996, but they divorced in 2001.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And then he married Rebecca Steed in 2003.
Good for him.
But they separated.
Ah, wow.
In 24. Sorry, your reactions.
So
I wish the camera was working. Erik married Tammy Sackerman in 1999. Still together.
Oh, wow.
27 years. Was that 27 years?
Is he still in jail?
Yeah. So.
You marry someone while they're getting incarcerated.
Listen, a whole episode could be done on the letters that women write to men in prison. Chris Watts, remember that fucking asshole?
No, I don't. Why do you say these things? I don't know who that is.
Because I did an episode on it. He killed his pregnant wife and the 2 kids. Shanann Watts. Stephanie.
Pregnant wife. Tell me more.
We did a whole episode on it.
I don't remember a pregnant wife.
She was pregnant. She was 3 months pregnant.
Mm-hmm. I need you to tell me more. I'm not even kidding. I don't
it's
remember
okay.
a pregnant
It's reading a book. Yes. So he killed his 2 kids because he was having an affair. Killed his wife, pregnant wife, 2 kids because he was having an affair with a woman named Nicole.
What did he do with the bodies? That might help.
He put them in the oil.
Oh, I didn't remember she was pregnant. Yeah. I just remember the 2 boys were in there. Oh, that was sad.
2 girls. Yeah.
2 girls?
Yeah.
Why?
Where was I going with that?
I think just wives of incarcerated people.
Oh, okay. So that son of a bitch that killed his pregnant wife and 2 children.
Yeah.
Gets letters written to him in prison from women who will send him half naked pictures.
Why?
Talking about how they understand that he just made a mistake.
No.
You fucking nutbag. Listen, if you're listening to this podcast and you're thinking, I'm going to write a letter to Chris Watts or anybody who's killed their kids or wife, seek help.
Yeah.
Okay?
This is
seek
your
help.
sign.
And don't listen to this podcast, please.
No, he crammed the bodies of his children into an oil barrel.
Yeah.
Hoping that the bodies would disintegrate. I remember that part. I didn't remember she was pregnant at all. I think very much there's highlights to episodes. Lowlights? Lowlights to episodes.
Lowlights, yes. Things that stick out to you.
That one struck me because it was the babies. It was the children.
Yeah.
That one sucked.
So, like, the fact that he gets fucking letters written to him, I'm like, get a grip.
Never in my life was I like, I have extra time on my hands.
Yeah.
I should write murderer inmates, letters about how they're innocent.
There's a really nice lady on TikTok. Because during COVID, it became a trend to write these very attractive male prisoners. And listen, I've seen the pictures. I will say some of them are very attractive.
I've not seen the pictures.
Oh, boy. But before I said they're attractive, I do Google what they did.
Okay.
And some of them are like, some of them like killed their like sister's abusive husband. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, okay. No, that's very Robin Hood of you. On board.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
But so this girl on TikTok, she'll
very much murders bad guys.
Yes.
This is
Dexter.
There is a whole stream of dark romances on this theme.
I know you're trying to get me to read smut, and it's not going to happen.
You basically are watching smut. Just read it in a book and enjoy it. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
So this girl on TikTok, she does this because she doesn't, and I see what her premise is. She doesn't want these murderers getting attention.
Yes.
So she will find guys that are going popular on writeaprisoner.org or whatever.
Okay.
Ones that are conventionally attractive, and she will say what they actually did. Like, she will do the research. Mm-hmm. I wish I knew her name. And she will find the actual crime that they committed. Okay. So there's this one guy, and it sticks out of my brain because he has Brian's exact birthday.
Uh-oh.
Didn't love that. And this guy is conventionally attractive, but he's serving a life sentence for murder.
Okay. Who did he murder, though?
He murdered his mom.
Oh, okay.
Who wouldn't give him money, and I think he murdered his grandma too.
Ooh.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's not like they're abusive.
No. Just because they wouldn't give him money, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So it's
hard to talk that one through.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, I guess the point that I'm trying to get at is, you want to write men in prison, pick a normal one.
Pick a normal one. Pick a Robin Hood.
Yes, pick a Robin Hood. Pick a robber. Like, I mean, if it's like a crime with... No. Because it's still dummy. But if you're going to murder... Pick a bank robber. Not like a house bank or a house robber.
Stick it to the man. That's still a Robin Hood, I feel like.
For sure. Bank robber? Yeah.
Bank robber, yeah. Steal from the big guys.
And don't, like, hurt the teller.
No, don't hurt the teller.
Yeah.
But if you, like, murder another bad guy, okay.
White collar crime... That's okay.
Yeah, we're not signing up for this.
No.
We're happily married.
No. But I'm just saying, if you're thinking about it.
Yeah, if you're interested in writing a prisoner.
Email us. We'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll help you with a list. Tally will help you with a list. Wait,
that'd be so much fun.
I'm not helping you with a list.
Okay. I digress. So, both brothers are married. They also earned degrees from the University of California. Which also, I'm like, wow.
I hope it's like criminology.
They went into prison and got degrees, and here I am. In 2023, the appellate attorney Cliff Gardner filed a habeas corpus petition saying that their new evidence proved that the abuse had actually occurred. Ooh. Now, the first piece of evidence was a letter that was written by Erik in December 1988. Mm-hmm. 8 months before the murders, to his cousin Andy. In the letter, Erik writes about trying to avoid his dad. He writes that it's still happening and it's gotten worse.
Oh. Okay.
He writes about lying awake at night, worried that his dad will come into his room. The letter actually sat undiscovered for more than 30 years, and it predates the murders and the lawyers and any possible legal strategy that could have been happening. It was literally just a teenager writing to his cousin about something that he couldn't say out loud.
Oh, it's so sad.
Now, the second piece of evidence, Roy Rossello, a former member of Menudo, the band that Jose...
Thank you. Yeah.
Came forward in a sworn affidavit to say that Jose had sexually abused him in the early 1980s when Rossello was a teenager. And Jose, at the time, was an RCA executive overseeing his career. Mm-hmm. Rossello had no legal incentive to come forward. He just stepped into significant public scrutiny to make that statement.
Good for him.
Now, Gardner's argument was that if this evidence had been available at trial, the brothers would have been convicted of manslaughter, not murder. And if convicted of manslaughter, they would have been out of prison decades ago. Then, in October of 2024, DA George Gascon reviewed the petition and recommended resentencing.
This is bonkers. 2024. It is bonkers that this went over like 30 years.
It's still going.
Holy.
He was replaced by newly elected DA Nathan Hochman, who opposed this. And then in May of 2025, a judge resentenced Lyle and Erik to 50 years to life, which made them eligible for parole. But then in August of 2025, a parole board denied their release.
Why?
Citing incidents of rule breaking and deception during incarceration.
Huh?
As of today, they remain at the Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility. They're still fighting to get out. Can't talk about this without bringing up Netflix.
Oh?
In 2024, Ryan Murphy released a movie called Monsters, the Lyle and Erik Menendez story. The show reignited mass public interest, and millions of people who never knew about this case suddenly had opinions about it. The Netflix effect is very real.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. They do like documentaries on everything.
Yeah. And so Lyle and Erik were actually pissed about this series.
Oh.
Their extended family called it repulsive. And the core of their objection was not optics. The show depicts an incestuous sexual relationship between the brothers.
Oh, okay.
Which there's zero evidence that this ever happened. There's no journalist, nothing, no witness. Like, it was literally just made
dramatic. Up. Okay.
And I will say I tried to watch it. And I couldn't. And I watch and I consume obscene things.
Yeah, you watch dark stuff.
Yeah.
Darker than me.
I could not watch it.
Was it because of that tone?
Yes, tone? And the actors, and I'm like, just because I also like know about it, and I'm like, I don't remember this being a thing. Okay. It's made me very uncomfortable.
Okay.
A Harvard Law Journal article published in April 2025 examined whether the brothers had legal recourse against Netflix. The conclusion was no.
Not. That's too bad. That's shitty.
Because they're now public figures, specifically limited purpose public figures, meaning that they're known because of a specific public controversy, any defamation claim would require proving that Netflix acted with actual malice.
Oh, okay. That's shitty, though.
Yeah. So.
They've been through enough. I don't know. I'm kind of on the abuse side.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You don't just make that shit up.
No. If you do, it wouldn't be so repetitive, and there wouldn't be so much detail, and there wouldn't be so much evidence of it. Like, you wouldn't have reached out over decades to family.
Yeah. I agree. Your family would have said something.
That's very hard to fabricate. Yeah.
I agree. There's a significant power imbalance that I want to talk about quickly. So Ryan Murphy made significant money depicting a fabricated incest storyline involving two men who have been in prison for 30 years and have no platform to push back. So the Netflix show did kind of help because of the public attention, but it also hurt them incredibly by introducing a damaging false narrative when they were trying to build a case for release. It's very gross. So nobody actually knows whether or not Lyle and Erik Menendez are victims of the horrific abuse who just broke in a desperate act of self-preservation. Nobody actually knows. I don't know. But I don't think anybody of that outside of that house knows either. But what we can do is lay out what actually happens and exists on both sides. So Erik's 1988 letter to his cousin exists. Roy Rosallo's affidavit corroborates the claim that Jose was capable of sexually abusing teenage boys. And remember, Roy had no incentive to come forward. The defense witnesses at the first trial, the cousins, the shower rituals, the household where something was visibly wrong, those were very specific and detailed. Cousin Diane accounts of what happened when she told Kitty and the way that Kitty shut it down immediately and blamed Lyle.
That's so sad.
Yeah. The protective parent closes ranks, not out of cruelty necessarily, but out of fear and denial. And the fact that the first jury was hung. Juries hang when the truth is not simple.
Yeah, and they can't make a decision.
Yes. Against the abuse narrative, there's the planning, the 2 days in advance, going to a different city, stolen ID, preloaded shotguns, picking up the shell casings, and trying to establish the alibi. And then destroying the will within the week of the murders. That is quite methodical, as well as the spending and the screenplay that was written before the murders.
No, I think it's a cry for help as a screenplay.
Yes.
Like it's a cry for help, and then I think they always expected to get caught. So they're like, well, what can we do with the time that we have? Because the writing's on the wall. In my opinion.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is.
That's true. I actually never thought about it from that angle. I always just thought that they were like 20 years old and didn't know what to do with money.
Maybe. But
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah. I think they knew they were going to get caught.
Yeah.
And time was ticking.
Yeah, because I wrote here, if you did just kill your parents in a traumatized panic because you were scared, do you go to the Caribbean?
Yeah. Fuck yeah, you do.
Yeah, especially if you're 21. Yeah.
You do whatever you can to enjoy your little bit of freedom that you've ever had in your life after decades of abuse.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially with the person that you bond with most, your brother.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
Yeah, I agree. So, the first time that Erik confessed to the psychologist Oziel, before any lawyers were involved, he did not mention abuse. The abuse narrative arrived 7 months after the murders. But I think, where I land, both things can be true at the same time. The abuse can be real, and I think that it is real. But the murder could also have been premeditated, and those two things are not mutually exclusive. People who survive years of sexual and psychological abuse can still plan and still act from rage and resentment and a desire for freedom and money, in addition to fear. And if the abuse was real, the more honest question isn't whether these boys were innocent, because they're not innocent. They're not saying that they were.
Yeah, there's shades of innocence.
Yes. The honest question is whether the legal system was ever equipped to handle what they were describing. And in 1993, I don't think that they were.
No, I agree. It was a different world.
I don't even think that they are now. Like, it would be a little bit better. But even now, I'm like...
Yeah.
Has public perception changed that much? With, like, social media?
You would need so much disgusting evidence.
Yeah. That's what's awful.
Yeah. You need evidence of this abuse, especially for decades.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we end. There's no update. Basically, in 2025, there's a huge push for them to basically be released on parole, and it didn't happen. But it's still an ongoing thing.
Well, I do think there is a big difference between violence against abusers. Like, I would doubt that there is any risk to reoffend because it was only directed at their abusers.
Yeah. And their abusers are gone. And they're married. Not that makes them, like, you know what I mean? It's just like...
Yeah, they're trying to, I think, build a life outside of this horrible thing that happened. Yeah. And so they're looking for release. I don't know how I feel. I do think maybe that they've served their time.
Oh, for sure. I don't think they should have been in jail.
For as long as they were. They freed themselves from their abusers. Yes, they took lives and they planned it together. But that was their only way out. And to make sure that they were out of the abuse. Is it good to commit murder? No.
Yeah.
But
what else are you supposed to do?
That's the only way they could see to get themselves out of this horrible situation.
And your brain's not fully developed.
No, it's not.
You're so young.
And you've been abused consistently for years.
Yeah.
How would you... Like, there's no way to put yourself in their shoes.
No. You couldn't. There's no way that you could ever understand.
No.
Unless you, like, have experienced significant abuse. But even still, like, even out of my lack of understanding, I think that they should be released.
Yeah, I don't think you should be held accountable for the things you did in response to extreme trauma for decades.
And also, like, they're not letting them go on parole because of not behaving properly. What?
They were children when they went in there.
Yeah, like, what do you expect? Like, and they have a university degree. They're trying to live, like, normal lives within jail as much as they can. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah, they kind of grew up in jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
No. Victims of abuse are very difficult.
Yeah. It is a very interesting case.
Well, trauma so much rewires your brain, too. So, this is an interesting deep dive.
I know one day I want to have Jane, our resident psychologist,
check in with us, and she can
just
lovingly talk to us for an hour, probably.
I know. Get, like, a third mic and just have her talk about the trauma response and how, like, things like this, like, how people respond to cases like this, or how... I Another
how
thing
we sympathize or don't sympathize would be interesting.
Yes. And then, like, just another thing that I think about is, like, so unrelated to this case is, like, how Chris Watts, instead of going for a divorce, he's like, I'll just kill my entire family.
Yeah.
The Ecology of, like, family annihilators. Like, I'm so curious to know what her thoughts are about that.
Mm-hmm. Or how she could explain it to us so we better understand it, maybe.
Yeah. Sorry for ruining your day.
Bye.